Hello everybody, welcome along. Technical difficulties for the second day in a row, but we are here to discuss today's football stories and some big news as well into the bargain. If you are here in the live chat, then do get involved. We'll do some questions if we get other people, but I do apologise for the lack of notice again. I have got another call later, so it's just a matter of cramming this in as we go. So the big news today is we think we have a start date for the Premier League to restart. They've been accused of being slow and not being specific. We've had the training go back and now into phase 2. But today it looks like we've finally got something to aim at, and it is the 17th of June. Put that in your diary. So Wednesday the 17th is when the clubs have agreed in principle that if they restart, which they've still got to vote on, that's when they're going to get going. So good news, really good news. Still a lot of stuff to be ironed out. The clubs still need to agree what's going to happen if things are eventually curtailed, which is still sadly a possibility. However, this just improves things immeasurably now because we just get deadlines on everything. We get the players can get on with their training, knowing where it is they're aiming at and what it is they're doing. I just think it's a good move as well. Fits in with the announcement that the government made that on the 15th of June, that particular week, we've got the 1st of June where schools, receptions and year 6s and year 1s are going back, and car showrooms and outdoor markets. And then that 15th was pretty much doors opening week, isn't it? Because non-essential retail, which basically means everybody's going to try and open their businesses at that point. So fits in nicely with a kind of sense of the country trying to get back to some sense of normal whilst we're still coping with the virus. So the idea is that you're going to get the games in hand that were left over, that really, of course, trouble across the divisions the uneven amount of games that teams have played. So you've got Villa, Sheffield United and Manchester City v Arsenal, which I'm sure the TV companies will be very happy with that they've got in their pocket, because that could be a really big TV event. And it makes a lot of sense that, look, this is a kind of experimental time, isn't it? We don't know what's going to happen with the R rate, with the numbers of infections. So if you do get that doomsday scenario and there's one game and other stuff's happening in society and we can't continue, then they've at least solved one problem, haven't they? And of course, they're going to want the big relaunch, and Arsenal and Manchester City will be, as I say, quite the TV event. I don't know which channel is going to get that game. As we know, it was on a call today, and clubs are still ironing stuff out, and we've still got to essentially vote for what is actually going to finally happen. But the more flesh they put on the bone here, the more really I think it pushes towards a good conclusion and carrying on all being organised. So all looking good. All the games apparently are going to be on TV as well. So we've heard some crazy scheduling things, i.e. a game at 12, a game at 2, a game at 4, a game at 6, a game at 8, and then all the same the next day. I'm not sure whether it would be like that. I'm sure it's going to be like they've done in Germany, where everything will be on the red button, or if they are going to give it out to free to air people, then maybe you get a game on BBC, you get a game on ITV, you get a game on Sky, you get a game on BT, like in the World Cup, where pick your poison, who you're going to give your money. But we'll see what happens with that, because I'm not sure that the rights holders that paid such a fortune will be overly happy if free-to-air games clash against their possible audiences and people turn around and say, well, why would I have paid my Sky subscription? But hey, I'm sure most of us would just be pleased to see things back to some kind of normal. Obviously, we've still got the behind closed doors issues, but a big step forward today. So that is great news. There's been more in respects of testing as well today. I believe the total is now 12, isn't it? Across all of the tests, way over 1,000 tests been made now in the Premier League. So big strides made forward. They're into contact training. Fingers crossed, it's starting to look like we're in a good position. We just need to see what happens in wider society when those extra schools go back, those other businesses start to go, drive-thrus and coffee chains and all of this. I mean, I've heard it argued that even with a second spike, that lockdown won't be, implemented across the board. It'll try and be regionalised, but big step in the right direction. So get your thoughts in the comments now if you're on the live stream, or if you're watching on delay in the chat. On 17th of June, do you think it'll actually happen on the 17th, or do you think it'll get shunted back a little bit more? Do you think that's enough time? Loads to discuss, but I, for one, am pleased that there's something to work to. Southwest Grizzle says, I think Championship games will be available to watch. Well, we'll talk about Championship in a second. I think all games are going to be able to watch, to be honest. So we'll see what they come up with. But if the doors are closed, then let the TV people fill their boots. And in terms of the EFL, I know there's a bit of a push to get them to put the feeds down, their iFollow feeds, so the clubs can actually try and make a bit of money back. I'm sure the TV people will make them some kind of deal that will make them a bit more money than that. But yeah, we'll see on that. Speaking of the Championship, Tasty Work says 17th seems a bit optimistic, thinks it will be pushed. Obviously, chance of that happened. I've just always gone by the thought, look, have a plan, work to the plan. If you can't make it, move it a little bit. But having a plan just focuses everything. And if it focuses their votes and their decision making and gives them deadlines in those respects, then it's a good thing. Will Sheffield Wednesday get points taken off them? Possibly, depends if they're guilty. Alex says, how will playing 9 games now impact on when next season can start? So the Premier League are looking at being done within 6 weeks, and then an FA Cup final, I think it was like August the 8th or something like that. So you would then imagine they'll do another 3-4 weeks, and maybe you'll get a September start. This is all assuming that everything goes very well in the meantime, and goes well in wider society. TM asks, when is Championship starting? We don't know if and when, but it's likely that it will go in line with whatever the Premier League does. We've got a bit on that from the Charlton Director of Football, who says they've got friendlies planned, including one against the Premier League team, and they're working off that same weekend, 19th, 20th or whatever it is, that weekend. So it's likely that they're thinking the same way. And then with the Premier League, you've got the FA Cup games, and then with the Championship, you've obviously got the playoffs as well. Right, let's talk about the Championship. EFL, 1,030 players and staff were tested between Monday and Wednesday. 3 people testing positive. Blackburn captain Elliot Bennett has been named as one of them. 2 players or staff from Fulham apparently as well. We know more issues in London, so 2 Fulham players. I think Bennett is another one who doesn't have symptoms and doesn't feel rough, but has just gone in and taken the test and has been told he's got it. So yeah, there you go with the Championship. Still numbers looking good. As I said, the Charlton Director of Football is looking at the same timescale as the Premier League. Remember, We'll have EFL votes soon. I thought we might have some answers by the start of the week, but it seems to have not panned out that way. Conceived wisdom, League 2 cancelled, playoffs, promotions, relegations will still happen. League 1 could go either way, but most people's hunches that gets cancelled as well. Championship, more pressure to continue there. Testing's actually happened in the Championship as well, so they've committed to that money. I don't know whether that's a indicator as to what's going to happen, but yeah, we'll see there. Nathan Jones is back. I did a video on this earlier, so I won't say too much, but Nathan Jones back at Luton, replacing Graham Jones. Check out the other video if you want to go in detail on that, but why would Luton be bringing somebody in if we weren't restarting? I wonder. So there you go. So that's the big news. Mostly we're talking about that Premier League start. If you want any questions hitting the live feed there, please hit that thumbs up button. If you want to support monetarily, you can super chat or send me a little picture of a emoji to donate money or whatever it says in the corner on your chat. We'll stay on a little bit longer and take any questions that are there. If you're watching on delay, as I said, get your thoughts in on Premier League kind of sticking a flag in the ground there for the 17th of June, and then hopefully others will follow again. No one knows what the hell is going to happen in wider society when all those shops open on the 15th of June, but hey, surely we can't get complete carnage by the 17th when those two games in hand are going to be played. Follow me on Twitter at Benjamin Bloom. I'll get the plugs going. If any questions come in, I will take them. Again, I apologise for not advertising the thread. Nick asked, what about early rounds of FA Cup? Well, we're talking about next season now. They're going to have to be moved back, aren't they? Or maybe a few less teams will have the opportunity to compete in the FA Cup. Empty stadiums, yeah, always. Jaggy says, weirdest place I've met an Ipswich fan. I'm in Bedfordshire here, just down the road in the M&S food hall. I saw a guy in an Ipswich shirt and I didn't say anything. I just kind of gave it a nod. You need to understand that Ipswich have lots of fans, especially in Europe. You can find them all over the place. I always used to be an Ipswich shirt. If you ever watched WrestleMania from the WWE, there'd be an Ipswich shirt at the front of that often. So, yes, there we go. More news likely tomorrow. I'm sure we'll get EFL calls, and we were supposed to be hearing about the TV money rebate as well today. Again, apologies for not advertising the stream, but wanted to get this done because I'm on another call later. So I will bid everybody a fond farewell. Now, get comments in on delay on the Premier League date to return and your thoughts on that. And I will likely see you tomorrow, hopefully with a bit more notice and hopefully with a bit more news. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Over and out.